Hello, you lovely ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and today I bring you guys a very special Advanced Wars by Web replay commentary. In the Advanced Wars competitive community, there are a lot of really terrifyingly strong players. People who just play this game on a skill level that seems far above anyone else. I've covered a few on this channel, you know, players like Go7, Inkugark, Starflash, Toulouse. I even consider Djus one of the all-time greats. But there is one player who stands in a league of his own, on a pedestal of his own above anyone else, and he goes by the name of Voice of Akasha. He is said to be completely unbeatable as long as he gets to take his time and play at his own pace. The reason why I'm saying that is he's not undefeated, like in his entire history. He has lost a couple of live games, I believe, and maybe a few tournaments way back, but on the global league, he is undefeated. He has 0 losses. This is what his profile looks like. Now you may say, wow, he's only rated 1300 to 1400? I mean, aren't there players who are more higher rated than he is? And yeah, for sure. Inkugark is rated like 1600, but the thing about Voice of Akasha is he's the kind of player who slumbers for most of the year. You know, he kind of only comes to the site every now and then to play a couple of global league matches where he just stumps his opponents, refuses to elaborate, and just leaves. And then he comes back maybe 6 months later and plays another game. Stumps his opponent, refuses to elaborate, leaves. And as you can see, he's never lost a single game on the global league. He might have some alt accounts or something, but on this main account, he never loses. And it is said that, again, when he gets to take his time and make his moves at his own pace, there's not a single player in the community who can defeat him. He is untouchable. And this obviously intrigues me a lot. I really like to spectate these matches of these insanely skilled players. So when Akasha recently came back on the Global League and played a couple of games, I followed them both, and I downloaded the replay of this recent one because I really wanted to show it to you guys. Not because I think I can dissect it in any meaningful way. I mean, I feel a little underprepared to cast a match at this level, but at least I might be able to make it entertaining for you guys and show you guys a game on a completely different level to what many of you have probably seen before. So, but yeah, every time Akasha comes back on the Global League, it's always a big deal, you know, like his games have like 50 plus followers, just everyone just spectates his match, trying to dissect his strategy, trying to figure out how he plays the game, because he seems to just have figured out Advanced Wars on a level that's beyond anyone else. He just kind of intrinsically understands how the game is played, and what's even more impressive is that he doesn't only win his games, but he wins them very quickly too. He tends to beat most of his opponents by day 15, which is the earliest you can win a standard match in most cases. He just like completely stomps his opponents, just completely overruns them, and it's incredible to watch him play. So this particular match is a Sami mirror match, which is an interesting matchup. It seems like Akasha has had a fixation on Sami lately. I don't know if he's trying to figure out if she's underrated or overrated or whatnot, but Sami's a weird CO because she varies so wildly depending on the map and the format. She's tier 4 in Fog, but tier 2 in Standard. The reason behind this is, of course, she can plan out those victory marches in Standard to a much bigger degree, which makes her a lot easier to play. Well, not easier. The skill gap is very high, obviously. The skill ceiling is enormous, but she's easier to use outside of Fog because you can actually see the properties that you want to capture. And in a Sami mirror match, this is taken to the extreme, where properties can ping-pong very quickly back and forth between the two players. Com towers are very exposed if you're not careful, so it's a wild matchup and a very fun one to watch for sure. And Akasha is going up against a player named Arya Fireheart here, Fireheart. And he's not like one of the all-time greats. He's rated about 1300 to 1400. He's a pretty strong player. I would love to see Akasha take on a player like Inkugark or Go7, but because he's not that highly rated yet, because he doesn't play that many matches, he's still being matched up against the 1400s, give or take. But many people say that, you know, no matter who he's matched up against, he's just going to crush them anyway. So, yeah, I say we just get into the game. I'm very excited to cast this match, so let's get ready. So this map is called Lucifer, a very interesting map. I like it a lot. As you can see, it has a lot of mountains in the center here. And you also have these com towers, which are pretty exposed, especially considering it's a Sami mirror, so they can easily fall to the other player during a victory march. You gotta be careful. You got sort of like a strong side, weak side dynamic here, where a blue player has these 2 bases, 2 orange players 1, and then you have the opposite here on the right-hand side, where, you know, Akasha's strong side is here. But you may notice that players have a port on their weak side, which is very interesting. And this port is you can actually see battleships deployed on this from time to time, which I really like that. I think D just casted a hilarious Starflash match recently where I think Starflash built a battleship on his port and then he got destroyed and he just built another one. It was amazing. I laughed my absolute butt off. That was a hilarious game. So yeah, you can see battleships on this map if you're lucky, if the match goes into the late game. It's a big investment, but it can work. And obviously there's a lot of mountains protecting the properties, but you know, Sami with her infantry and mechs, I think that's one of the reasons why she's so popular in Tier 2 on this matchup, is because mechs are actually decent here due to all the mountains that they can shoot from, especially with Sami. So yeah, I say we just get started. So I'm just gonna call them Arya and Akasha for the sake of cutting down their names a little bit. Obviously, both players just gonna go for their neutral bases immediately. Arya wants to capture this base, Akasha wants to capture this base. But I'm going to try and scrutinize their infantry movements a little bit, just to see if I can get a bit of a grip on how their openings are. So Arya going for the airport early on, it would appear. Either that or he's going to go for this property. I don't really think either player are going to open early battlecopters in a Sami mirror matchup, so we'll see. But already their openers are a little bit different in that Akasha actually goes for these two properties, whereas Arya goes into this mountain right here. So already their openers are quite different. Arya goes... Okay, interesting. So he actually skips the airport and goes for this property instead. I guess it doesn't really make a lot of sense to capture it early on unless you plan to go a transport copter. But I think going transport copter against Akasha is... sounds like a scary prospect. Sounds like he's going to punish you pretty hard for that. So, yeah. Looks like Akasha going for the property here. Neither player rushing their comm tower. Actually, Arya might go for the comm tower. I don't know if he's going to go for this property or the comm tower. We'll see what he plans to do. Recon's very strong on this map, as Dee just pointed out in his replay commentary, because you got this like long road that goes all the way down here. So you can use recons to interrupt captures. Of course, that's very hard against Sami because of her increased capture rate. So I don't really know if that's going to be a thing that's going to happen this match. But, oh, speaking of the devil, speaking of Lucifer, we already have a first recon out there. So Arya's going to use this recon on his weak side to apply some pressure down here. The thing, though, about Sami recons is that not only do they have minus 10% firepower, but Sami infantry also has that increased capture rate. So I believe you need to reduce the Sami infantry to 3 HP to interrupt the cap, which that's not going to happen with a recon with minus 10% firepower. So I don't really know what this recon's going to do, aside from just maybe chasing away a couple of infantry. We'll see if anything will happen from it. So Akasha goes for this property, not the airport. Sends another infantry over here to capture these two cities over here. And currently just building infantry. No recons yet. Oh, wow, that's a bit of a flex, honestly. Akasha sees the recon on the left side. He just builds infantry. He doesn't even build a recon of his own to chase the recon away, or a mech to guard against it. He's just, I don't care. I'll just, I'll deal with it later. So he feels confident he can find a way to deal with it. So yeah, recon able to enter this forest tile on the first turn, and already now it's denying the capture of this property. Akasha did rush this property early on, though, so he already has that. I think the purpose of building this recon normally on day 3 is to try and interrupt this cap. I believe he just pointed that out in one of his videos. But obviously, Arya's not going to be able to do that to Akasha, so... Anyway, more infantry coming out for both players. Akasha going in here. This will allow him to capture either of these properties, whichever one Arya decides to go for, really. And finally grabs this other property over here. Moves in here. He's going to go and grab this property. Also moving his infantry over here. And out comes the first tank. It's not even on the side of the recon. He builds a tank on his strong side. So I guess he feels very confident that he can... I mean, he stays out of range of the recon, so... I guess he realizes that he doesn't really need to bother with this thing. Yeah, okay. Chad move. Alright, Arya's turn rolls in. Captures his airport. Gets the harbor. And out comes the tank. So, Akasha is forcing a tank on Arya's weak side. This is a problem because Sami really wants to get infantry out. And on Arya's weak side, Arya can only build a single infantry every turn. So forcing out tanks on weak side is a pretty good strategy. Already you're forcing your opponent into a very uncomfortable position. This is something I've been noticed people have been doing against me on the league a lot. Is like, I've noticed that higher level players will often try to force fights on your weak side. And if you're then stuck into a very nasty position where you have to constantly reinforce your weak side, it's just kind of a losing battle because you can't fight on your weak side. There's a reason it's called your weak side. You know, it's kind of like doing arm wrestling, but you use your left hand, you know? So, a bad analogy, I know, but you guys get what I'm saying. So, Anyway, so boys, yeah, Akasha just goes for the harbor. I mean, sure, Arya can attack his infantry, but like he'll still get the harbor. So it's not really a big deal. He could also bring his tank over if he really wants to do. I mean, I'm excited to see what he's going to do with this tank. If he's going to send it north or if it's going to send it west. Let's see what he decides to do. Yep, all right, so he does actually send it over here. So if the recon decides to attack, then the tank can actually interrupt. So as you can see, covering the property perfectly. So this tank, even though it was built on the strong side, not only did it force the tank on the weak side, but he also shifted it into the middle so that he could help protect against the recon. So really well played. I mean, every one of his moves are going to be incredibly good. So, and another tank, yeah, again, just look what he's doing. He's building tanks on his strong side, just forcing tanks out on the weak side, reducing the infantry count, forcing Arya to take unfavorable engagements. Arya moving his tank down south, still not going to be able to interrupt any of these caps since they're Sami infantry. Gotta love how the penguins waddles around the maps. Looks adorable. Also, am I the only one who finds it a bit ironic that the guy named Fireheart is playing the penguins? I mean, come on, man. I guess Akasha's playing awbw, so I guess he couldn't really pick that one. All right. So, already, Akasha is finishing his captures. So far, it's, I think both players are doing pretty evenly on the capture games. Let's see what he decides to do with his tanks. Moves them in towards his strong side now, and look how they're covering each other. So, Arya won't be able to strike it, and he also will probably build even more tanks out. Oh, no, actually, no, he's building a tank on his weak side. So, I guess he needs something to counter this tank out of Arya here, so... Day 8 rolls in. Arya finishes capturing multiple properties, I believe. Oh, he's actually a little bit ahead in the capture game now. Goes for the Com Tower. Akasha already has his. But I think both players are probably just going to get the properties on their side. In Sami battles, it's kind of hard to interrupt captures, so that's how most of the games tend to play out. Arya does decide to get a battlecopter out, though. This is an interesting play. Obviously, Sami battlecopters a little weaker than normal, but they're still pretty good. Battlecopters don't really care about a minus 10% firepower penalty. I mean, they're still able to do their job just fine, because they don't really take that much counterattack damage. But Akasha just going here, takes a shot. Is he going to kill the infantry? Yes, he is. All right, so he goes in and takes out the infantry. He's going to place his tank on the city. Yes, he is. So he just goes, so you know what? This is my city right now. Places his other tank on this missile silo right here to keep it safe. So already it's very hard. You see, Arya doesn't really have anything to attack into this. He has this solitary tank here. He does have the battlecopter, which will arrive, but Akasha can get on an anti-air this turn to ward against it. So you can see really solid positioning from Akasha already. And there comes the anti-air, obviously, to ward away the battlecopter and the artillery. Artillery very strong on Lucifer. You can plunk it behind this mountain range right here, place a couple of infantry to ward away the battlecopter, and this artillery is sitting very comfortably. It's very nice. So yeah, and he's pulling back on his weak side, which makes sense. He has this one solitary tank to guard all of his infantry, so it's not really a whole lot Arya can do to attack here. He can try and capture this property, but it's tough to capture this property because it's in reinforcement range of this one base over here. So day 9 rolls in, and yeah, okay. Arya takes down the infantry, brings in his battlecopter. Still going to take one more turn before this anti-air is in position, so he has a small window of opportunity to do something with this battlecopter here. And in comes, he builds another tank on his weak side, and just actually decides to attack here. Interesting. So I'm guessing the reason why he's attacking is because of this battlecopter. Akasha is not going to get his anti-air in position quickly enough to actually ward away this battlecopter. So this battlecopter has like one turn of free harassment that he can pull off right here. So, but yeah, Arya, I actually didn't think he'd attack into this. I did follow the match live, but I've mostly forgotten how it went at this point because I was following it day by day as it progressed. So, yeah, Akasha goes for this property right here. He's definitely going to get it. Arya could use their combined recon and infantry to interrupt it, but I don't think he will. Akasha pulls back his tank. Gets a very good shot off with his tank over here. Guards his tank so he doesn't get picked off. Very smart. It is said that this guy like calculates like 10 to 15 turns in advance. I don't know if that sounds like a myth to me, but some people say that he really thinks that far ahead. I don't really know. I think myths tend to form around good players. 15 turns ahead sounds kind of stupid, but then again, there are some chess players who think like 30 moves ahead, so maybe it's not too far off base. So in comes the tank, double tank on strong side. Okay, so again, just constantly look. He's forcing the battle to be taken on Arya's weak side. So, although it is mostly transitioning into a center battle here, I'm going to be interesting to see if Arya interrupts this cap or not. Is he just going to let him get it? Okay. Picks off an infantry, smart. You know, those pesky 1 HP Sami infantry, you really want to try and get rid of them because, you know, during Victory March, they're as potent as ever. So finishing off weakened Sami infantry is actually pretty important. All right. Battlecopter sits comfortably behind the mountain range. This is pretty good. Good positioning by Arya here. Because, of course, he can either pull the Battlecopter over to the right or to the left, depending on where the Antair goes. He kind of forces the Antair to get stuck behind this mountain range here. Unless, of course, Akasha wants to build another one, which you really don't want to do against a solitary Battlecopter. But, yeah. Yeah, he does indeed go for the interrupts. So, he's sacking a recon to deny Akasha a property. And out comes 2 more tanks. So yeah, both players going pretty tank heavy in the Sami game. Kind of usual. It's not uncommon to see Sami mirror matches devolve into tank spamming because you know, once players start spamming tanks, that's kind of the response you have to do. Finishing off the recon with an infantry here. That's nice. I like to see that. Doesn't go for the capture. Just picks off infantry whenever he can get them. Just getting a very good KD here. He's not too greedy. And places his artillery in range 2. I'm pretty sure he's going to guard against that Battlecopter, surely. Yeah, there we go. So again, this is a solid defense by Akasha right here. So yeah, this artillery is perfectly guarding the center. Really strong positioning on that artillery. Arya does not have any artillery of his own yet, which that's gonna hurt him in a bit. Akasha builds Battlecopter. So again, Battlecopter is very strong on this map. Visible the mountain ranges. The more mountains you have, the better Battlecopters will be. But Arya is actually pressuring these 2 cities right now, and if Akasha is not careful, he might actually lose them. Captures with the 4 HP infantry. That's going to take... God, I'm not good with my Sami values, but that's 6, a 6, 12, 8, yeah. That's 4 turns he'll need to spend on capturing that. Attacks with the tank here. Interesting. All right. And goes for the property as well. This is well played. I don't think a Sami infantry interrupts another Sami infantry, even with the increased firepower. So, yeah, Arya's going to pick up a bit of an income advantage here against Akasha, which is definitely a good thing. So, yeah, he brings in the tank as well on his weak side. And kind of just goes on the defense here because you're like, look, Akasha's planted himself solidly in the middle here. We're seeing a situation that is a little similar to the one in my last game. You remember that? When you saw the winning player, he was the one who concentrated his forces together in the center, whereas Arya's kind of split in 2 here. You know, he has this force here, and then he has this force right here, which means that Akasha can either shift to attack one side or the other, and whoever he attacks, he'll be superior in numbers. So Arya definitely needs to gather together in the center if he's going to have any hope of stopping this push from Akasha, because this guy will attack perfectly. You shouldn't count on this guy making any mistakes. Ooh, interesting. All right, sending his tank in. Yeah, of course it's not in range, so he can do that. Grabs. Yeah, it's going to grab these 2 cities. Yeah, okay, fine. Arya's going to grab these 2 cities. Akasha's going to grab these 2 cities. That's a decent trade. And actually pulling back a little bit now, because Arya does have a pretty scary force here. 4 tanks. Well, one of them is injured, but still. Alright, so, and again, look at this beautiful artillery positioning right here. Perfectly covered by the mountains. Of course, Sami infantry can inflict maybe 1 to 2 HP of damage to it, so it's not invulnerable, but still. It's a very annoyingly placed artillery for sure. And Akasha now starts to capture this property. He's actually a little bit behind now. But I don't think there's any way Arya... No, there's no way Arya can actually prevent this property from being taken. Just look at how rock solid his defenses are right now. I mean, this is like watching Inkugark play. Or when I played against Inkugark, you know, like this just... He has a perfect infantry wall here, guarded by the artillery. Tanks backed up by the infantry. I mean, his positioning is perfect. Battlecopter in position to attack. Yeah, this is really nice. It's really beautiful to watch this level of play. So yeah, Ira decides to ditch the capture, moves down with his infantry, brings in a healthy one, makes a lot of sense. And now he's bringing most of his forces in. He realizes, you know, Akasha's pushing heavily here. Actually on his own weak side, which is interesting. He's kind of like turned his weak side into his strong side, so he's just front switched his entire army over here. Arya recognizes this. He realizes that the comm tower might fall during the next victory march if he doesn't prepare a proper defense. And that's a bad position to be in, because that effectively means your opponent has a 20% firepower advantage over you. And that is game breaking. So, but yeah, he is, I mean, props to Arya. He's playing well too. I mean, he's actually holding his own against Akasha right here. He's not just being completely stomped. And, oh, building a rocket. So that's interesting. So, again, rockets can work on Lucifer because of the mountains. You gotta be careful about battlecopters, though. And also, like, victory marches, if there's a couple of mechs strewn in, don't underestimate the amount of wall breaking that Sami can pull up, because she gets a 80% firepower increase during Victory March, which is absolutely incredible. I'm going to double check that just to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Yeah, 80%. So, so her infantry actually becomes very potent wall breakers, especially her mechs too, can really kill tanks, for example, so. But yeah, Akasha finally grabs the property, evens out the income disparity. Oh my god, look at this guy. I think, you know, this is not what I'd call a Manx infantry. I'm sure Akasha has a plan, but, you know, this looks like a Manx infantry, but I don't think it is. But yeah, he's definitely going for it now. Yeah, brings up the artillery as well. Gonna wall it off perfectly. Look at that. Ooh. So, very well positioned right here. Just look at this beautiful pyramid of units right here. Perfectly covering the artillery. Now, is he going to block off this property from being interrupted? Let's find out. But yeah, he's moving his units into the center here. Yeah, seems like he's preparing for a full-on attack on the center. And yeah, he's just going to let the tank strike the infantry, because it's going to commence the capture anyways. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so things are about to explode in the center here. Akasha's made the first move. He's moved onto the properties, and he goes, okay, what? You're just going to let me take your property? So let's see. Does Arya pull back? Does he just gift the property to Akasha? Or does he actually decide to attack? Let's find out. This is about to get exciting. So he does indeed go for it, using the defense of the mountain. Pretty smart. There we go. Kills to capture. Is he going to push further, though, or is he going to leave it at that? He does attack this infantry, because he should, of course. It's a free infantry. But he's not going to interrupt the cap. He might be able to take it back, though. But I do like this rocket that that Arya has deployed here. It's going to be a very solid rocket, but I'm also worried because Akasha has 3 battlecopters coming towards it. I mean, the amount of walling you need to pull off to keep this thing safe is pretty insane. I mean, maybe you can plonk it down on the city where it'll sit pretty comfortably, but still, this is scary. Building a rocket against the voice of Akasha, that is, some people would maybe call that a little arrogant, but we'll see. But yeah, he is walling off. Yeah, he's not going to commit to this attack. He just interrupted. Going to gift Akasha 2 infantry in order to be able to do that. He doesn't want to let him get the city, but he's preparing his defenses. He is preparing his defenses. So let us see if Akasha is going to be able to break through here. But yeah, okay, so interesting. So he's switching some of his forces away, actually, on the side here. That is actually pretty interesting. So, yeah, okay, so he's gonna go, while he looks to be preparing for a massive attack here, he's also diverting a few of his forces over on the right-hand side. So a little bit of a feint, maybe? Maybe he's gonna force Arya to spread himself thin, considering, I mean, there is a rocket here, which means that this attack isn't going to work anymore, unless he plans to break through it. So yeah, maybe it's a smart idea to just shift to the right-hand side. But yeah, in comes the infantry. He has the battlecopter right here. He can strike the tank, forcing Arya to build an anti-air to deal with it, or shift his own infantry. But look at that. I mean, he needs more infantry. He needs more anti-air now, because Kosh has those 3 battlecopters, and they are absolutely terrifying. And in comes another one. More artillery, more battlecopters. Okay, yeah. I think he wants to eat fresh rocket for breakfast, I think. So I would be very, very scared if I was Arya. This rocket is so exposed, and it's such a juicy target as well. So you really, really got to be careful with that. So, yeah. Alright, so let us continue. Arya is now diverting his battlecopter over to the right-hand side. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. Looks like he definitely needs to protect his cities from being attacked here. And once again, you know, he's serving up some free infantry. I mean, this is pretty genius by Akasha, because Arya has to sack 2 infantry to kill 1 infantry. So the longer that this trade goes on here, he's going to be more and more behind. But now he actually seems to be committing a little bit. He's feeling emboldened by his rocket, I guess. But I don't know if that's a very smart thing, actually, because, again, the amount of walling that he needs to do to keep that rocket safe. There's so many battlecopters in the area, and if there is a way to breach the wall, Akasha will find it. So his wall better be Inkugark level right now if he hopes to deal with this. So, but yeah, being attacked on 2 fronts actually kind of this is kind of evolved into a 3-prong battle here. With this in the center, you have this on both sides. So Again, pretty smart by Akasha. You know, he recognizes the rocket is here, so he just spreads out his attacks. Pretty smart. So, day 14 rolls in. Now it is time for Akasha to either attack or withdraw. What is he going to do? Oh, he seems to be attacking, ladies and gentlemen. Oh god, what is he doing? Oh my goodness, is he really gonna attack into Arya's rocket? I mean, this is... Watching this, like, this looks like a bad move, right? Like, look at this. Just look at this positioning right here. Would you make these moves? I mean, this is incredible. This looks to be such a bad attack. I mean, look at the wall of tanks that Arya has in front here. Look at the rocket. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Oop, sorry, I had to make a little cut to carry my chicken in from the barbecue. Anyway, let's continue. So, yeah, this attack right here looks absolutely insane, you know? I'm just sitting here going like, what's he doing, man? What's he up to? But, it's about to be the start of a really insane attack. So in comes Akasha with the tank, takes on the anti-air. Of course, Arya does have 2 other anti-air, but they're not in position to deal with the battlecopters. And look at that. The wall breaking has begun, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this attack. Pops double time. Sami normal power, that's right. 1 extra movement on the infantry. In comes the infantry. Look at that. Wall breaks. It's dead. Battlecopter comes in. Tank comes in. Infantry. Second infantry. And the rocket falls. I mean, holy... What an attack. What an attack. I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, who else would have really been able to see that kind of attack? Just baffled by this level of play right here. He just saw the opening and he just went for it immediately. I mean, I need to see that again because that was just absolutely breathtaking. So, I mean, how many players in this situation would be able to foresee this level of attack? You know? In comes the anti-air. In comes the battlecopter. Kills the anti-air. Sacks the 3 HP infantry. Moves in with the tank. Attacks with the artillery. Pops double time. Attacks. Breaks. Attacks the tank, kills the tank, and uses the extra movement from the infantry to kill the last infantry and get the rocket. Absolutely insane level of play from Akasha right here. And that is, I do believe it's not quite the coup de grace. I mean, Arya does have a victory march on his way right now, so let's see if he's able to equalize that. And even using the extra movement to get this property right here. Absolutely insane level of play right here. So that was a pretty insane move. The value difference between both players right now, maybe it's not as high as I thought it would be. 115k to 91k. It's still a lot. But with that move, he's earned himself a solid advantage. But let's not count Arya out just yet. He has a victory march coming up. Problem is, you see, Akasha's very good at guarding all of his properties, you know? Look at his tanks. They're sitting comfortably on his properties. Arya may be able to take this property, but, you know, these 2 properties right here with tanks on them, it's no way he's dislodging those. At least not without the... Especially not without the assistance of his rocket, which is now damaged. So, also, Arya may not be able to get the victory march this turn, because there's still 2 stars. He's 1 star away from getting it right now. Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it? Would it... He's moved so many of his infantry already, so I'm guessing he's not gonna pop it just yet. But he moves back his rockets. To his credit, this is not a bad counterattack. Oh, never mind, he pops it. Oh, he pops it. There you go. So how many properties is he going to get? 1 property? Is he going to be able to get another? He might be able to get another. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Mech comes in, deals the damage. Yeah, so he gets 2 properties from that victory march. That's certainly not a bad play. And he clears out most of the units on the left-hand side. So, yeah, I mean, Akasha did a good job weakening the rocket, but Arya was able to pop a victory march and actually grab a lot of properties back. So, yeah, this game is actually still pretty even. It was not the killing blow that I thought it would be, but let's just wait and see what happens this turn, because, you know, now it's Akasha's turn to attack. So, in comes the units, and oh boy, the battlecopters are coming in. Is that going to be a kill? No, it just is barely not a kill. He finishes off the rocket, though, which is very nice. He uses the anti-air to kill the weakened tank. Ooh, he's cleaning house over here. Yeah, this is not pretty. He's far into the enemy territory right now with a very, very scary force. Even capturing the harbor and the city right now. So those 2 properties that Arya was able to take, well, he's going to lose them in the center. Akasha also has a very good artillery guarding this place right here. The tank can't reach it. It's just out of range, which is beautiful to see. And he even has this artillery right here to guard against whatever force is coming towards him on this side. So Akasha's guarding all sides with a strategic artillery, building more battlecopters. They are absolutely amazing on this map. So yeah, right now, not looking so great for Arya. 76,000 value to 117,000. So this is looking pretty rough. But let's see if he can do something. It's a good shot on the artillery. Weakens, yeah. Akasha guarding his own battlecopters with artillery. That's pretty hilarious to see. His anti-air can't get at his battlecopters. They're just not able to reach. But at least Arya is not going to let Akasha take the harbor. And he still has a decent attack on the right-hand side right here, and he might be able to make something happen. But problem is, Akasha has 3 battlecopters in the center, and they can easily switch over to the right-hand side and wipe those guys out. He needs an anti-air on this side. So I hope he builds one for his own sake. Yeah, there we go. There's the anti-air. And he needs to pull a lot of his forces into the center of the map right here to try and defend against Akasha's attack, which is coming in real hard here. Day 16. This is usually where Akasha tends to win his matches. Let's see what he decides to do. Finishes cleaning up. Yep, that's what I thought. He's pulling his battlecopters over on the right-hand side. And there's not really any anti-air here to deal with them. The one anti-air that's here is out of position, so... yeah, look at that. Just front switches his attack from one side to the next. Can't breach this wall? No problem. I'll just go to the right-hand side and wipe out the enemies there instead. Beautifully played. Captures with the 1 HP infantry. That's a BM if I ever saw it. That's a BM move. I mean, he's 4 stars away from Victory March though, so who knows? I would have maybe... okay, I'm not going to pretend like I know better than Akasha, but I would have maybe kept this infantry in the back for a potential Victory March. Now it's just going to get snagged. So, but who knows? Maybe he put it there for a reason. Or maybe he's just flexing. Who knows? So, yeah, day 17, Arya is still very much behind at this point. This force from Akasha right here is so scary. His battlecopters just have so much mobility. But, oh, interesting. Arya is actually going on the offensive here. Alright. Okay, he's going on the... well, okay, he's pushing hard on his strong side now, so... yeah, maybe he realizes he has to make something happen here. He can't just play defensively. He needs to try and take some ground back. I mean, both players... Akasha's going to get his Victory March before Arya. So, I don't think Arya can rely on a Victory March to get him back into this game here. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, he's sacking battlecopters. He's sacking... oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, he's doing it. He's sacking battlecopters for power charge. He's gonna pop a Victory March, ladies and gentlemen. A third battlecopter goes in. This is absolutely hilarious. Sacks the tank. Sacks the anti-air. Goes for another tank. He's about to get Victory March. I mean, this is crazy level play. Oh my god, and he pops it. This is gonna hurt so much. My goodness. 1 property captured, 2 properties captured, 3 properties captured, 4 properties captured, 5 properties captured, 6 properties captured. Oh my goodness. 7 properties captured, 8 properties captured, and he eliminates Arya with the freaking capture. That is the most insane thing I have ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. This guy, he just gets advanced wars on a level that's not meant for you and me. So yeah, that was an insanely entertaining battle. Oh my goodness, so glad I casted this. So yeah, what can I say? Voice of Akasha, he's a legend. He is a guy who just plays advanced wars on a higher level, and his games are always a joy to watch. And I'm very excited for when he eventually decides to come back and play more games on the Global League in about 6 months from now. Really hoping to see him go up against Inkugark or one of the other all-time greats. Really would like to see that match. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this casting, and let me know what you thought about it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!